Okay, part two of finding the force acting on a charge from other point charges. We've got the basics for the force acting on the point charge 4 by 1 and 3, but the second one is an angle. So let's take a look at this angle. That's the green one. And so let's look at the angle. You can use the geometry of the actual charges to figure out that angle. Well, if I'm going to go ahead and write, I'll just draw a triangle similar to it here, which is this triangle 0.5 meters and 0.2 meters. That's going to have the exact same angle, so I can go ahead and use the inverse tangent of the opposite over adjacent to get an angle for that of 21.8 degrees. So now I'm going to see that this triangle, the green one, has the exact same shape and size because it's acting in the opposite. It's acting along this line. So I'm going to take my 0.3724 and times the cosine of the angle that I found, and I'm going to get negative 0.3454 and a positive 0.138 for my forces in the x and the y direction from that second charge. Then I'm going to sum everything together and get negative 0.6334. I kind of look at the numbers. This is about 0.3, that's about 0.3, so negative 0.3 sounds about right. When I add the y's together, notice my negative is greater than my positive, so I'm going to end up with a negative 3.12. So with that, I have my x component of the resultant force and my y component of the resultant force, and I square each of those just like Pythagorean theorem again, and I'm going to get a force of 0.706 newtons. And you can kind of see my force vector is acting that to the left and down, and it's going to be acting at an angle of about 26 degrees, but that is the acute angle. So I need to go all the way from the positive x-axis all the way down, so I need to add 180 to that. And I get 206 degrees. So my resultant force is about 0.71 acting at 206 degrees. Now let's go ahead and take a look to see if it makes sense. Does it seem that we're going to have a force that goes down as a resultant? Well, it's hard to tell because it seems like there's so much force going upward. But since these charges between 4 and 3 are so close together, that meant that the vector that we anticipated is actually a little bit longer. Those force vectors are longer than we thought. So the resultant force is 0.7 newtons acting at 206 degrees. Please ask me if you need any help.